So we're going to go ahead and get started as others join this lunch and learn. Good morning. My name is Ruth Jordan. I'm the manager with the City of Charleston's Office of Minority Business Enterprise. I will be your moderator. Our technical support will be Christina Ott. I like to call her our project engineer from the business service division of the City of Charleston. And we have a wonderful presenter on today, and I'll be introducing her in just a few minutes. So just in case you don't know where you are in the City of Charleston Minding Your Business series. This is our 5th webinar in this series of 10 that will be presented this spring. And so again, continue to put your name, the name of your business in the chat box. Next slide, please. Just a few housekeeping. This presentation is being recorded and will be available. Participants, your video is off. And if you have questions, please use the Q&A box and we will answer your questions along the way, and particularly at the end, just in case you didn't get your question answered during the presentation. Next slide, please. We have a poll question because we wanted this to be interactive. Christina, what is the poll question?
Good morning, everyone. We're trying to find out who is a minority or woman-owned business today. So if you can take a few seconds to just fill out that poll, and we'll share what types of businesses we have with us today. We're waiting on a few more responses. All right, I think we got almost everybody. Sure. Great. All right, the majority said that they are a minority or woman-owned business. Welcome. We're happy to have you here today.
Welcome, 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 welcome. So we're about to begin this series today about minding your business. This is, again, I said earlier, a series of free webinars at the City of Charleston Office of Minority and Women-Owned Business, a division of Business and Neighborhood Services, is offering you. This particular webinar, like I said, is part of a 10-part series. So many business owners are busy working in their business, but not working on their business. They're not working on their business to grow and scale. They're not working on their business to help increase revenue and sales, increase customers and clients and contracts, and finding additional capital. I know many people are looking for that extra cash to help build your business. And so after this particular webinar on today, we're going to have several other upcoming webinars. In June, we will be having Are You Ready to Borrow? Wednesday, June 22nd. Mark your calendar. And then in July, it's going to be an in-person event. I'm going to get an opportunity to meet you guys in person. We have a loyal follower of all these webinars, and we're going to be able to see you in person on July 20th at our matchmaking lender event. This is going to be speed dating for lenders and connecting you to people who may have cash that can assist you in growing your business. So again, this is minding your business to help you increase and grow and scale your business. Are you ready? Let's go. Next slide. Our presenter today is Dr. Sonja Satani. She is a professor at CPE. What is the name of the institution?
CPI University.
That's right. And she is a business owner of Corporate Cycle Consulting, LLC. And today's course is called Finding the Golden Nuggets in Your Business. We are going to present to you and introduce to others and turn this over to Dr. Sonja Satani. It's in your hands.
Thank you. And I am so glad to be here with you all today. And we are going to focus on discussing the importance of managing your business finances. I'll explain the 3 types of financial statements that are needed in your business, teach you how to read and generate your financial statements. But of course, you don't have to always do it, because that's why we have accountants and CPAs to do that for you. But it definitely helps to know just some of the basics. We'll also discuss the importance of creating your victory success action plan, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So just to give you a little bit background of who I am, I used to think that asking for help was a sign of weakness. I never wanted to be a burden on others, so I would just stay quiet and just try to muster through the hardship all alone. And because of this belief, it led me to become homeless. I was too embarrassed to go home. I was too embarrassed to talk to my friends. And because they always saw me as this well put together person, always succeeding at whatever I put my mind to do. And of course, I ended up joining the United States Air Force. And as a way to get my life back on track, it was during my 9th year of serving in the military. I had gone through a divorce. I became a single parent with 2 kids. And at the time, they were ages 4 and 6. And shortly afterwards, I was injured on duty and paralyzed from the waist down. I didn't know how I was going to take care of my kids. Their father was nowhere to be found. And I just found myself at a point where I didn't want to ask for help. I knew I needed help with my kids, with learning how to walk again, even just trying to get my life back in order. But when I decided that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength, when I realized that it was time to stop masking the pain and acting all tough and just be honest with myself, that I just can't do it all by myself. And when I did, I was able to walk again. I was able to be my authentic self. I was able to teach my kids that you don't have to struggle alone. And asking for help allowed me to be better equipped for taking on bigger challenges. And let me say, if you are trying to run your business by yourself, if you're trying to get through life by yourself, you will continue to struggle. But when you take the time to ask for help, to have a business coach by your side, it will save you the heartache, save you the pain, and you will reach your goals so much faster. And what I've learned is that you can be strong enough to stand alone, smart enough to know when you need help, and brave enough to ask for it. And if you don't have a business coach, I invite you to collaborate and connect with me. And with your permission, allow me to help you grow your business. So today I ask you to allow me to teach you and to coach you on just the element of finding your golden nuggets in your business for today. So we have another quick poll question. Christina, are you able to pull it up? There we go. So have you used a financial coach or service for your business before? All right, looks like the results are in. So 4 of you said yes, and the remainder said no. Well, again, I invite you, if you don't have a coach, I'd love to work with you. So let's talk about the money, right? Show me the money. We all remember Cuba Gooding Jr., right? In the storyline, Jerry Maguire, show me the money. Well, that's what financial statements do. They show you the money. They show you where a company's money came from, where it went, and where it is now. And there are 4 main financial statements that we're going to talk about. 1 is the balance sheet, 2, the income statements, 3, the cash flow statements, for the statements of shareholders' equity. So when we're looking at the balance sheets, and we'll start there first. So with these balance sheets, it's going to provide detailed information about a company's assets, their liabilities, and the shareholder equity. So what are assets? Assets are things that a company owns that have value. And this typically means that they can either be sold or used by the company to make products or provide services that can be sold. So these assets include your physical property. So maybe you have trucks, maybe you have equipment or some of the inventory. It also includes things such as, or shall I say, things that can't be touched. So when I talk about things that can't be touched, we're talking about your trademarks, your patents. And of course, cash itself is an asset. So this helps to make the investments for your company really stand out. Now, liabilities are amounts of money that a company owes to others. So when we think about it, we think about the obligations, the money that we borrow from the bank to launch a new product, the rent that we have to pay for the building, or payroll, right? A company has to pay their employees or team members, or taxes that we owe to the government. These are liabilities. So they include the obligations that we have to provide for our goods and services. And then shareholder equity is sometimes called capital or net worth. And it's the money that would be left if a company sold all the assets and paid off all their liabilities. So it's that leftover money that belongs to the shareholder or the owners of the company. So with income statements, our income statement is a report that shows how much revenue a company's earned over a specific time period, usually for a year or some portion of that year. And the income statement also shows the costs and expenses associated with earning that revenue. So literally, we're looking at the bottom line. And that bottom line of that statement usually shows the company's net earnings or losses. So think about your paycheck, right? You have your gross income, all the money that you should have made, and then they take out further taxes, and what you're left over is the net. It's the same thing. What's the money left over? That is your net earnings or your net losses. And it tells you how much the company has earned or lost over a period of time. So these income statements also report the earnings per share or EPS. And this calculation, it will show you how much money shareholders would receive if the company decided to distribute all of that net earnings for that period. I don't know if any of you have companies that maybe you invested in and you get a check at the end of the month. That's part of the dividend. That's what the company is going to distribute, of course, when they have a little extra something. So to understand how income statements are set up, think of them as a set of stairs. You start at the top with the total amount of sales made during the accounting period. Then you go down one step at a time. And at each step, you make a deduction for certain costs or other operating expenses that are associated with earning the revenue. And at the bottom of the stairs, after deducting all those expenses, you learn how much the company actually earned or lost during that accounting period. And this is what we call bottom line. So at the top of the income statement is a total amount of money brought in from the sales of your products or services. And this top line is often referred to as your gross revenue. And then the next line is the money in which the company doesn't expect to collect on, certain sales. Maybe people are due to pay, or maybe you have a sales discount or some merchandise that's being returned. So when you subtract the returns and the allowances from that gross revenue, you're going to arrive at the company's net revenue. And of course, it's called the net because if you can imagine a net, these revenues are left in the net after the deduction for those returns and allowances have come out. And again, continuously moving down the stairs from the net revenue line, there are several lines that represent various kinds of operating expenses. And although these lines can be reported in various orders, so here we're going to look at the amount of money the company spent to produce those goods or services. And we're also going to look at the cost of sales from that net revenue. And we're going to come to a subtotal. And that subtotal can sometimes be called a gross margin. It can also be called a gross profit. But here's the thing. Again, when we're looking at those operating expenses for that given period, like your salaries, administrative personnel, maybe you're researching new products, putting out marketing, right? All of these operating expenses are different from the cost of sales. And this is where we have deducted some of those from above. Now, depreciation is also deducted from our gross profit. And depreciation takes into account the wear and tear of some of the assets. So maybe some of you might have machinery or tools or furniture. And these are things that we use over a long period of time. So companies are able to spread the cost of these assets over periods of time. And the process of spreading these costs is also called depreciation or amortization. So when we look at the interest, the income, the expenses, the interest income in terms of the money companies make from keeping their cash in interest-bearing savings accounts, money market funds, and so forth, this allows us to really look at how much money we have available to even borrow. And some income statements show the interest income or the interest expense on a separate basis. But when we combine these two numbers, the interest income and the expense, which could be added or subtracted from that operating profit, this is where we get into that operating profit. And that's typically right before the income taxes are done. And then finally, the income tax, as many of us are familiar with, they're going to be deducted. So again, we arrive at that bottom line, that net profit or net loss. And this tells you how much the company actually earned or lost during that accounting period.
So Dr. Sonja,
Go
let me
ahead.
ask a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
So the golden nugget in amortizing these depreciations over the year, and then being able to capitalize those expenses at the end of the year, would that not help me be able to save monies in the end for on my taxes? Or I should be able to get a return more on my taxes, having these expenses amortized over, or those types of equipment, or those kinds of things over an extended year period.
Yes, so it would actually help you to get some additional funding back in your taxes, because
Right.
this is also, something that we have to look at for wear and tear. So
Right.
yes.
So the golden nugget in here is, because being a business owner myself, I would buy a laptop or a computer or even a car. And then, of course, my accountant would take those expense and basically amortize it over a period of time so that I could get more income back at the end of the year on my income taxes.
Yes. And what happens is they take it as a fraction of the cost of your original assets or the original cost of the assets. So yes,
Okay.
hopefully I answer your question.
Yes, I just wanted to have that explained about that golden nugget about those expenses and how that can help you, when you're investing in equipment, and then, being able to amortize that over a period of time, so that you can get more back in your income taxes at the end of the year.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
So the next is our cash flow statements. So in our cash flow statements, we have three key elements that we look at: the operating activities, the investing activities, and the financing activities. So with the cash flow statement, it's going to report a company's inflow and outflow of cash. And this is important because as a company, it needs to have enough cash on hand to pay its expenses and purchases for those assets. So while an income statement tells you whether a company made a profit, the cash flow statement is going to tell you whether the company generated the cash. So here, this cash flow statement shows changes over time rather than the absolute dollar amounts at a point in time. And of course, we have to look at that bottom line, right? So when we talk about that bottom line, we're talking about that net increase or decrease in cash for that period. And generally, the cash flow statements are going to be divided into those three parts, which I mentioned: the operating activities, the investing, and the financing. So with operations, this is the first part of the cash flow statement, and it analyzes the company's cash flow from the net income or the losses. So for most companies, this section of the cash flow statement will reconcile that net income or the actual cash the company received from or used in its operating activities. So what does that mean? So let's say that we have some non-cash items, such as adding back that depreciation expense that you purchased on that truck, that computer. We're also going to adjust any cash that was used or provided by other operating assets and liabilities. We'll look at the investments activities. This is the second part of that cash flow statement. And here we're looking at all the cash flow from investments. So this is generally included with your purchases or sales of your long-term assets, such as your property, your equipment, as well as if you invest in securities. So when I'm talking about investing in securities, your mutual funds, maybe you put a little money aside for that. And if a company buys a piece of machinery, that cash flow statement would reflect the activity as cash outflow from those investing activities because it's used as cash. And if the company decided to sell off some investments from an investment portfolio, then the proceeds from the sales will show up as a cash inflow from those investing activities because now you're being provided the cash. And then finally, the financing activities. In the cash flow statement, it's going to show the cash flow from all financing activities. So those typical items might be cash that you raise by selling stocks or bonds, or maybe you're borrowing money from the bank. So likewise, paying a bank a loan will show up as use of a cash flow. Are there any questions regarding this?
Please feel free to put your questions in the Q&A box.
And I'll keep going.
Okay.
All right. So now we have the shareholders' equity. And this is sometimes called capital or net worth. And if the money that would be left if a company sold all the assets and paid off all its liabilities. So this is the leftover money that belongs to the shareholder or the owner of the company. So I have two formulas here. I put this extremely simple, easiest formula, which is the shareholder's equity is equal to the total assets minus the total liabilities. Now, this is just your basic accounting equation. Something we all like, right? Simple and easy. So all we do is take the sum of all the assets in the balance sheet and deduct the value of all the liability. And the total assets are, of course, those marketable securities, prepayments, long-term assets such as your machinery, your fixtures. But the total liabilities are obtained by adding current liabilities and long-term liabilities. And all the values are available in a company's balance sheet. And what remains after deducting those total liabilities from those total assets is the value that the shareholder would get if those assets were liquidated or sold and all the debts paid off, right? So the second formula, it's a little bit more complicated, but we have the shareholders' equity is equal to the share capital plus the returned earnings minus the treasury stock. Now, if you have a company that has stock, this share capital method is sometimes known as the investor's equation. Now, here in this particular formula, when we look at the sum of the retained earnings of the business, the share capital, and subtract that from the treasury shares, this is where we can also look at it from our balance sheet. And let me explain first what treasury stocks are. So treasury stocks repurchase shares of the company that are held for potential resale to investors. And when we look at the difference between the shares that are offered and the outstanding shares of the company, what's being bought back is the treasury stock. So let's think of this in a way. Sorry, my lights went out here. So if you have stock and you have earnings from that stock, and you're able to keep some of that, but if the company repurchases or resells it back to the investors, that's the difference. Any questions on this? All right, so now we're going to get into your victory success action plan. So the first thing is you have to have a vision. In Proverbs 29:18, it says, without a vision, the people will perish. And many entrepreneurs lack a clear vision of what they want for themselves and what they want for their company. And the reason is that sometimes they haven't connected with their unique strengths, their abilities, or core values, or some of their guiding principles. So it's important to craft a guiding vision for both personal and business success. And if you want to go far, you want to have a clear vision. That clear vision, that clear sense of direction, that's going to help you not to wander off, try to go in so many different directions. What do I want to do? How am I going to do this? You're trying everything. That clear vision is going to help you stay on track. That clear vision is going to help you to communicate with your target customers, your employees or team members, your family members, that support system that you have, and they are going to know what you're trying to do, how you're going to best serve them. And I tell you, your ability to communicate a clear vision will dramatically affect your business. The next is intel. So one of the lessons I learned from being in the military is a surefire way to lose on the battlefield. And just to charge into a battle without enough intel to make an informed decision. And the same thing is true in business. It's critical for you to know how to gather information, how to process it, how to analyze the information. You would want to make sure that you have the business acumen, the knowledge, the skill, so you can dominate in your industry. And you want to know where your customers are, how to find them, what are their buying habits, what are their needs, how will you provide service to them? So having that intel is going to be huge for your business success. Coaching. So all top achievers have coaches to help them reach their next level. And when you try to go at it alone, you're going to struggle. And the struggle is going to be harder than you ever imagined. You don't want to continue to waste more time and money. Excuse me. And here's the truth. Every world-class athlete, entertainer, entrepreneur, they have coaches and mentors. And I want you to take a moment to reflect on how you can reach the pinnacle of your success. Not as that lone wolf, but having a coach by your side. And again, I share with you my personal experience in both the military and business. It has allowed me to achieve my goals so much faster with a coach, a mentor, a teacher, an advisor. And they helped me to get to the level that I choose. And I'm still using a coach in my business. I'm still looking for the next level. And I encourage you to think about having that as well. And I'll also share with you, it doesn't matter if you have a degree or not. It's about surrounding yourself with a coach. So you have an option to hire a coach on a private, to work with you privately, or you can participate in group coaching like you're doing now, or even a mastermind group. And you always want to invest in the level that you want to go. So keep that in mind. Team, every successful entrepreneur, business owner needs a great team. So whether you're just launching your business or you've been in business for a long time, your team is your support system. Your business coach is part of that support system, whether it's your attorney, a banker, an accountant, a tax advisor. These are all part of your core team. And even if you outsource, even if you're ready to hire individuals, whether they're a 1099, they're a W-2 employee, you want to make sure that you're putting the right people in the right place, in the right position, and that your team understands your vision and that they are there to help you grow your business. And from a financial perspective, you want to look at the long-term success as well. And that includes your training and making sure that your team has the knowledge that they need to help your business grow and be successful. And you definitely want to prepare your budget, your strategic planning goals to help you do that. And when you have that team, again, whether you're hiring or you're outsourcing, you want to make sure that you've got the right members for that. With operations, this is your ongoing, repeatable activities that keep your business running smoothly. And this includes your financial systems, your sales, your lead generations, your follow-through, your inventory management, your customer service, any type of routine strategic planning, and anything else that your business repeats throughout the year. As you're providing service to your clients, whether you're offering a product or a service to them, it is so, so important to have your systems in place. Think about Amazon. They have their systems in place in such a way, right? They get paid while they sleep, right? Wouldn't it be nice to wake up and you're like, ooh, I got some money today. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm up 2 a.m. in the morning and I'm on Amazon and I'm ordering stuff. And then within the next 2 days or even sooner, I have my package. But what kind of systems do you have in place? And who's up at 2 a.m. in the morning anyway, right? But again, that is another order that's coming through that somebody's getting paid. Most of us are asleep at 2 a.m. So maybe you're in the service industry. So what experiences are you providing or creating for your clients so that they feel that, hey, I'm the special VIP every time I come in to your business? And keep in mind, we all make mistakes, but part of having a smooth operational plan also involves fixing those errors in a timely manner so you don't have to repeat them, so you won't have to worry about losing your clients. You get your people trained, fix those errors, and your operations will continue to move smooth. Now, success comes to doers, not to dreamers. So it's important success comes to doers, not dreamers, right? You want to be successful, you got to take action. It's about rapid action. You have to make decision. So whether you say yes or whether you say no, it's still a decision that you're making. But action delivers results. Action creates opportunities. And taking rapid, decisive action is the single greatest differentiator between barely surviving in your business versus truly thriving in your business. So if you truly want to thrive, think about the action steps that you need to take to get you there. And then finally, it's all about you. You are the leader. You are the visionary. You are the decision maker. And you would want to spend time developing your professional and personal business skills. And that includes communicating with your team, whether managing them, keeping them inspired, motivated, empowered. But the thing is that you have to have the self-discipline. You have to have the tenacity, the grit, and the commitment towards self-development. Because as the leader of your business, you are going to employ that ethical, that moral character, because your team looks to you, your customers look to you, your family members are counting on you. And you are the one who has to set the example and create the culture and develop other leaders within your organization. Because here's the bottom line, you want to leave a legacy and leave an impact. Now, Maya Angelou, she said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that goes for your customers, your team, and others that you might connect with, who you network with. It makes a huge difference in your business. So I encourage you to utilize this Victory Success Action Plan. Put together your vision if you haven't already done it. If it needs to be modified, modify it. Make sure you have the intel, you did the research, you gathered the information, you did a SWOT analysis. Get a coach. If you don't have one, find one. If you don't want to use me, find someone else. But get a coach. And as you're building your team, you want to find the right people, whether it's a 1099, a W-2, or outsource, and then get your operations in place, get your systems in place.
That's right. And Dr. Sonja, we heard something on yesterday, and I'm going to use this and have to give credit to a startup business. She was a young lady. We attended a grand opening of the Charleston's Women's Business Center in North Charleston. And one of the young ladies said, if I was hit by a bus today, will my business continue to go on? Can your business pass the bus test? So if you being the owner of that business and you had an accident today or tomorrow, will your business be able to thrive and survive? Will your business stop? Will somebody else on the team will be able to continue to make sure that that business thrive and continue to bring in the income? So part of this victory and success plan is making sure that your business can pass the bus test. And someone said that's pretty powerful. And so continue, Dr. Sonja.
Yes, you definitely want to pass that bus test. And of course, get your operations, take action, and develop yourself as the leader. So corporate cycle consulting, one of the things that we see, and even from my own personal experience, it's so much easier to go through this journey with others, right? Just like we're all here together, it's an opportunity to communicate, to talk to other business owners, find out what they're doing. Because what that does, it allows us to bypass some costly mistakes. And of course, behind every successful person is someone that is opening the door for you. Just like the Charleston County MWBE program, some networking programs. I'm sorry, City of Charleston, right? Or whatever networking organization that you might belong to, there's someone that can help open the door for you. And again, we want to bypass those costly mistakes. So we can help you achieve your goals so much faster than going at it alone. So would you like to stop figuring out all by yourself? I don't know if they're able to raise their hands or virtual hands,
They can put it in the chat box.
or you can put it in the chat box.
Would you
Right.
like to stop figuring this out all by yourself? Put it in the chat box. Aisha said, yes, I want to stop trying to do it by myself. Katie says, yes, ma'am. Elena says, yes, I want to stop trying to figure it out by myself. Absolutely. Chantel, hi, Chantel. Lakeisha said, yes. So we're
Good.
getting a lot of yes.
Good, good, good. So would it be helpful if I gave you a customized roadmap so that way you can map out your next 90 days and you can finally hit the revenue that you desire, get additional clients, whatever your goals are? So what if you were given an opportunity today to get you ready, to be ready to participate in that matchmaker funding, and you'll be able to talk the business language as you're meeting with these vendors and matchmaking lenders, or when you're meeting with other organizations that have funding or grants, or be able to help your clients. So you have two options. You can make the decision to finally put an end to your struggle so you can be profitable, or you can continue to struggle every day with getting the results that you seek. So you can schedule your appointment for your free private results breakthrough session with me. So it's calendly.com/SOSATANI. And I'd love to spend some time with you. And during that free private results breakthrough session, we'll assess your current situation. We'll help you get crystal clarity on your vision and what's important to you, identify the blind spots and challenges that's been holding you back from creating the results that you want, and map out a customized 90-day roadmap to help you achieve your goals. You'll walk away with total clarity, giving you more focus than ever, maximize your productivity and reach your peak performance, boost your confidence, and you will be inspired, empowered, and ready for your next steps to grow your business. So with Corporate Cycle Consulting, some of our upcoming events, we have Grow Your Business Workshop, which will be June 4th from 10 to noon. We are located at the Opportunity Center, 8570 Rivers Avenue. And I'm also a franchise owner with Network in Action. So Corporate Cycle Connections is my chapter, and I invite you to be a part of that. So I have a virtual group that you can join me on Thursday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. There is a registration that is required, or you can come in person on Saturday, June 11th from 9 to 12 for our crowd coach. And I'd love to send you more information, or you can visit my website, corporatecycleconsulting.com/events, and that'll take you directly to the events page where you can register. And finally, we have our other upcoming events that Ms. Ruth mentioned earlier, and I would love, love, love to see you there. Are you ready tomorrow? So Wednesday, June 22nd at noon. So our presenters are going to be the Climb Fund and SBDC. Now, I don't know if it's the same gentleman that I met yesterday with SBDC and Climb Fund, but it does matter. They have the knowledge, they have the information, and they can actually help you get the funding. And hopefully with this presentation, now that you understand your financial statements, what goes into it, you're going to be ready to borrow some money. You're going to be ready to talk about the information because you've learned it. And then of course, save the date for the lender matchmaking event for July 20th. It's in person. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be amazing. And I would love to see you there as well.
And so again, we want to thank Dr. Sonja for this wonderful presentation on today. Let's give it up for Dr. Sonja Satani. And so we have an opportunity to answer some more questions. Put it in your Q&A box. Remember to mark your calendars for the events. Are you ready to borrow? That will be our sixth series of webinars in this Minding Your Business, because so many businesses want to have access to capital, just like Dr. Sonja just said. But you got to make sure that your financial statements are ready to go. So we want to say thank you, Dr. Sonja, for a job well done, and want to see you all at our next event. Please mark your calendar. And so stay in touch with Dr. Sonja. Again, from Corporate Cycle Consulting LLC. Her information is being shared here on the screen and in our chat box. Any parting words, Dr. Sonja?
Again, I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for this opportunity. And I am so excited for all of these business owners that are here, because I know that you will be victorious in what you do. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what your business does. And I look forward to seeing you again.
And remember to please take the survey. And remember that this recording and presentation is available. So upon taking the survey, hit us back and say you'd like to have a copy of it. And then all of these webinars are archived on our City of Charleston Minority Business webpage. So remember, this was brought to you by the City of Charleston Office of Women Minority Business Enterprises, a division of Business and Neighborhood Services on behalf of the City of Charleston. See you at our next webinar, June 22nd. And again, thank you for being here today. And we're out.